Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Fioretta, Associate Editor of Retail TouchPoints, and we're here on the final day of Retail's big show at the Javits Center in New York City. And I'm here with Fabrizio Brasca, VP of Global Logistics for JDA Software. Fabrizio, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we're in the final day of Retail's big show, so can you share your insights in terms of the overall experience of the show and the sentiment and the overall camaraderie?
Sure. It's been a fantastic show for JDA in general, and certainly for me in particular with the transportation practice. We've had tons of activity interacting both with existing customers as well as potential new customers. It's always a great experience being able to share your thoughts, share your vision, again, kind of both with new and old, and also learn from our customers as well. That's one of the value adds I get from these types of events as well. So no, it's been very productive, very, very busy. So I know it's productive always by looking at my calendar. Yeah. So yeah, it's worked out really, really, really well.
Yeah, it seems to be a very active show. Everyone seems to be very into going into the demos, communicating with people, and it seems like a very fun, uplifting atmosphere for the retail industry. It's a very exciting time.
Absolutely, it's been very positive. I've been to this event for a number of years now, and I have to say it's probably one of the best years I've ever attended.
Excellent, and a big topic for this year's big show is the rise of the cross-channel consumer. Sure. So in today's cross-channel market, transportation management is an increasingly vital role in retail operations. Can you touch on the importance a little bit? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. It has importance in a number of different areas, but one of the key ones is, as we get into this realm of the omni-consumer or cross-channel shopper, and we talk about the trend of the challenge in getting loyalty with the customer and the kind of the wavering loyalty and how you really have to capture their attention. What it's forcing retailers to do is, as they're dealing with that channel or that challenge, they need to be able to also address their operational efficiency, right? Because the more operationally efficient you can become, the more you can weather the storm as you find out the right pattern or the right package to capture that consumer. So it really elevates the importance of some of these fundamental supply chain processes like transportation.
Right, excellent. And we're always discussing the rise of e-commerce and mobile. It's undeniable at this point. It's here and it's going to begin to grow. So with that in mind, a lot of analysts are still saying the store is still the star in terms of customer engagement. So can you discuss the key transportation challenges and strategies going on for brick and mortar retailers? Yeah,
there's, the one key one is if you think about a traditional brick and mortar retailer, they're used to large volumes, shipping full truckloads into their, or having full truckloads go to one or a number of their stores.
Right.
And when you now switch to this environment where consumers have options, they may have the ability to have the goods shipped directly to them. That starts to change the modal mix, right? So it moves from an environment where you, instead of having a lot of truckload activity, which most retailers are very familiar with and very comfortable with, and instead having an environment where you have, say, a lot of parcel freight or air freight, which is a newer mode for a lot of these retailers. And so the ability to deal with that mode and then hence look for the synergies across them and how you can start to blend them and look for the trade-offs to kind of keep control of the margin, that becomes very, very significant and very challenging. In addition to that, if you think about how, if you've ordered things for Christmas, one of the other things you see is you're shopping online and you often see one of the incentives for you to buy something on a particular site is the free shipping, which now starts to add margin pressure.
Yeah.
And so again, it gives another reason for retailers to really look at their supply chain, at the physical distribution flows, and see how can they take a step back and really make them more efficient. And certainly transportation is a very, very key part of that.
Excellent. And with that in mind, are there any sort of best practices or trends that you think retailers should keep in mind for 2012 and beyond?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that are important. I'm going to kind of list them in a progressing order.
Okay.
One is, take a step back from your network. One of the challenges we often see is, for example, with this influx of parcel, retailers, because it's unfamiliar, will kind of put it aside and deal with it as this independent thing. And I always think that's a mistake. I think the more you can step back from your transportation network and look for alternatives and strategies from a holistic standpoint, the more value you can drive. And that value turns into that operational efficiency.
Right.
So I think retailers should always take a step back and really holistically look at what avenues they have within their network. And then extending from that, I think the other part of it as well that's really important, once you take a step back, is, you know, in transportation, there's kind of two sides of the equation. There's what we call planning, where you kind of plan the routes and the moves, and then there's the execution side. And more, especially as we get into this real-time retail, those two things are blended. And it's not kind of a throw over the fence and I plan something and then I just hope it all works out.
Yeah.
You want those two things to be very interactive. So things like dock scheduling, network scheduling, understanding the true, you know, service levels and transit levels of the different modes and how all those interact, that has to interact very closely with how a solution solves the problem, right? And so I think retailers should really look at, when they look at the technology, think about, is the technology really representing the network in the level of detail that they need, and or is it creating bottlenecks, which potentially could be a barrier to success? And again, I think with the wavering loyalty of the consumer, with the need to really capture them the first time, you have to get that transportation right. So the more fluid, the more attention you can spend on the transportation chain, I think not only will they make you more operationally efficient, but it will enable you to capture that consumer successfully the first time.
Well, Fabrizio, you provided a lot of great insight in the role transportation plays, especially with the rise in e-commerce and how to really capture customer loyalty and keep them coming back. So thank you so much
again
for taking the time out, and thanks to everyone for watching.